If he comes, well, he'll join and we'll go on.
Okay, well, I guess
Well,
we will bring.
Now what happened? I
You're
lost
fine.
you.
No,
No,
we
still
see you,
I don't see you.
but we see you with no problem.
Great. I was gonna
Alright.
move. I was gonna tip this.
Okay, well, we'll bring the meeting to order then. First item on the agenda, minutes from the March 10th board meeting. They should be in your Dropbox. Has everybody gotten a chance to take a look?
Yes.
Perfect. If there's any additions, changes, let me know.
Now, why can't, I don't know why I can't see anybody.
Let's see. Do you haven't, there's no cameras on your screen at
All right, came back.
Okay.
I minimized and all of a sudden here we are. Okay.
Okay. All right. So any changes to the minutes?
No.
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 All right. We'll accept the minutes. Oh. And Linda, I think I wrote on the minutes you gave me, so I may have to.
I'll give you another copy to sign.
Sorry.
Okay.
All right. Item 2, we need to open the public hearing for our budget. Okay.
And seeing that we have no public,
The public hearing is open. The budgets are in your Dropbox. I'm hoping everybody had a good chance to look through them.
I did, although I should sit with somebody maybe and let somebody explain to me more about the budget. I read through it all.
that would be
Oh,
me,
yeah.
Brad.
So that'd be you?
Yep.
Okay. So I'll come in and maybe you can teach me what these different lines mean
Sure.
and why there's 5 different columns and all of that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll get you up to speed.
Great.
So, okay. Any other comments on the budget? Since there's no public input. Anything from any trustees? No?
Like what we talked about.
Yep.
I did have a question about the garbage contract.
Sure, go ahead, Fred.
Like when does it expire?
May 31st.
Oh, this coming right up.
Yes.
Right.
And
It was a
so-
5-year contract that expires May 31st.
Oh, so Blue Moose as of after May 31st, they're no longer, and then it's
Correct.
going to be Burr Adams.
Correct.
Yes.
And is that also a 5-year contract?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. That's
You're welcome.
Okay. Anything else? Then I will officially bring to a close the public hearing on the budget. Good job, everybody. Next, public hearing for the tax cap override. Now, as you may or may not know, we are limited by the state to what's called the tax cap. We cannot raise taxes more than a certain percentage each year. I think that number is a little less than 2%.
Somewhere
Right
like
now,
that, yes.
Linda?
Yep.
So, and if it was only that easy, it would be wonderful. But because we do things like debt assessment on top of taxes and things like that, we're never really quite sure where we're going to fall. And just to be on the safe side, we're allowed as a municipality to pass what's called the tax cap override that sort of allows us to go over that limit. And we do that just as a precaution. So that's what we're doing right now. Did I nail that, Nate? Or was there anything I missed?
And the tax cap override is something that the trustees and the mayor have to determine once a year?
Yes, we do it annually.
Yep, Jason, I mean, I think that's largely correct. And you're right, you do it as a precautionary measure just to give yourself the flexibility in the event that you need to go in excess of the tax cap. And I remember this being a real hassle 4 or 5 years ago because the state was tying some payments to not exceeding the tax cap. We had clients like yourselves passing the tax cap override and then having to repeal it if you weren't going to need it, because having it even on the books prevented you from getting those payments. I don't know, Linda, do you know if the state's not doing those payments anymore? So there's no need to repeal this law then, I guess.
Right.
So it's even easier now, and it's kind of just a belt and suspenders, have it in your
Right.
back pocket if you need it type of thing.
Right.
And
Yeah. Hey, Scott.
hey,
How often have they ever gone over the 2%?
that was
Well,
I was going to ask that same question. Have we
The
ever
tax-
used
the tax
it,
cap
and how
rate
many
changes every
times?
year? All right, the tax cap rate changes every year, and it's
Oh.
different for different municipalities. So,
Why?
because that's how the
Right,
government
but
does it.
how many times have we ever had to use the stipulation?
We've gone over, I'd say, a few times. Um,
Okay.
Because the tax cap is incredibly low.
It's like
and
1% or
it doesn't even
2%,
keep up
Scott.
with inflation as far as I've seen.
Oh,
Right.
that's all.
And there were
What
situations
it
where-
is. I'm just wondering if it's something that we do plan on using this year, if it's something that we continually do on a year-to-year basis, or it's just happened in the past. We want to make sure we're covered.
Correct.
Right. This year in particular, I don't believe we'll need it because we have a 0% tax increase.
Gotcha.
But again, we're just passing it as a precautionary because
Yep.
the penalties that we could face if we did go over and not had a override in place could be substantial. So, and we don't want to burden the taxpayers with any penalties or fines. So,
Yep, absolutely. Thanks.
cool. And no public input on the tax cap override. Any other questions from the board? Okay, hearing none, I will close the public hearing on the tax cap override. Okay, next.
Okay, so next is oath of offices. So Marv, Fran, Scott, in the Dropbox, you are now up to taking your oath of office. So please repeat after me. I state your name,
Marvin
I,
Hamel,
Francis Leahy,
do solemnly
Scott,
swear
do solemnly
solemnly
swear
swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
Constitution
of the United States
of the United
of the United
States
States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the
and the
Constitution of the State of
Constitution
New
of the State of
York,
New
State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and
And
that
that
I
I
will
will
faithfully
faithfully
discharge
the duties of the office of trustee
duties
duties
of
of
the
the
office of trustee
trustee,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the
according
best of my
of my
ability.
ability.
Well, congratulations and welcome, trustees.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Excellent. And before we go too much further, I just want to let you guys know we are having some internet issues here at the village office. So I apologize if Linda and I are breaking up. Is it
I
awful
think
so
I'm
far?
getting the
or-
best of it now.
Right now it's fine at the moment. I saw it freeze a few minutes ago though.
Okay. Okay. Next will be appointments, and I have a series of appointments that I would like to make. The first being village clerk. I would like to name Linda Murphy. Secretary to the mayor, I will name Sandy Bennett. No changes there. Our historian will continue to be Juanita Aliba. And our deputy historian will be Nancy Lee. As far as the trustee appointments, I'm appointing Robert Heinley as my deputy mayor and the purview of the fire department as he's currently doing. Appointing Francis Leahy to streets, sidewalks, and public works. Scott Hefner to the water, sewer department and library. And Marvin Lamoureux to the clerk's office. If you have any questions as far as what that entails, feel free to ask now or forever hold your peace.
Yeah. So I guess, yeah, a small description would be helpful there.
No, it takes all the fun out of it.
I know. I just don't. I'm more of a planner and an organizer. So like just winging it and going by well, I said water and sewage.
No
Yeah,
worries. Bob's role as fire department, it's essentially you're the liaison between, Bob's the liaison between the fire department and the village board. So he would theoretically be their first point of contact for any concerns they have to bring to us.
Okay.
Okay. And the same is true if we have any issues with, streets and sidewalks, and if Scott or Josh have any concerns regarding DPW works, they can speak to to Franny. And again, we don't expect you to be able to jump right in. This is just it's just something that we'll start working towards.
Yep.
Scott, as far as water, sewer department, and library, same sort of deal. Occasionally people will ask for relief for water bills, sewer bills, things like that. We'll have your eyes over them before we bring them to the board, just to make sure that
We
Things
have
are
a
in
whole
order.
formula that's now used, et cetera, whole policy on
Yeah.
water. So
I'm sure Danielle used to mention that she had to do, we made her do some math, which hopefully we shouldn't have to do anymore, but it's always fun.
Okay.
And Marv is assigned to the clerk's office, and that is somebody who, that used to be the role that I had. It's just somebody that can physically be in the office fairly routinely, to, act as a voice for the secretary and clerk for the board.
Okay. Thanks.
the other thing too, while Jason's talking about appointments, is that normally when we actually meet in person, part of the role of being a trustee is that you need to review all the vouchers. And I don't mean just you all physically sign off on the vouchers each month before we pay the bills. So being part of Zoom, that obviously you can't physically sign those vouchers. When we're back in person, that's part of your role as well. Okay.
It's all about transparency. You all have to approve what we spend. So, okay. That's it for appointments. Okay, next. We have a resolution for the unpaid water and sewer bills. Now, just to fill you all in, every tax season, we have some accounts in arrears for
It is
water and
higher
sewer,
this year.
and it is higher this year. But what we're allowed to do is re-levy these to the county, and the county will make us whole. We just need to pass a resolution to,
This one actually is re-levied to this is the village. So we have we have an inside user and an outside user. Our inside users are re-levied to our village tax, which will come out June 1, which is what this one is. The
this is the
outside
outside
users
user.
get re-levied in the fall, and that goes to the town and county tax that comes out in January. That makes sense.
So, folks, just a quick heads up. Linda, you probably remember, and Jason, maybe you noticed it too, NICOM sent out a legislative advisory update earlier this month
Yes.
indicating that the moratorium on water shutoffs is being extended.
We
Included in that as well is a prohibition on re-levying the water into the taxes if people are otherwise qualified.
We did that whole thing where people could sign up for forgiveness for payment, and nobody signed up. Not a single person has contacted. We did special mailings and everything else. Not a single person contacted this office.
And one of the other new requirements, Linda, is going to be that a similar notice to what we sent last fall, I think it was, now be included in every single bill that goes out. And you have to send those notices in order to justify charging penalties and interest and re-levying in the future.
Okay.
The governor hasn't yet signed this bill, and at least as of today at 5 o'clock, or whatever time it was, it's sitting on his desk for some reason. It's possible he'll sign it, and somebody who's upset about the fact that their water bills got re-levied might try and contest this. The timing on this is just really goofy. But if we're really confident that we did send the notice out to everybody
Absolutely, it was on bright
appropriately,
orange paper. went
Okay.
into mailing. We did a special mailing, cost us more for postage, etc. Because normally, even on the out of towners, we usually send a postcard. So we had to do a special envelope and, all that sort of stuff. And it took.
So we would
extra
have
paper.
receipts to prove we paid for that and sent those out. So
It's all part of
it's
our-
easily
It's
provable.
all part of our postage bill. So
So it's not
Right.
itemized.
If it ever became an issue, Linda would testify that she
Right.
did send that notice out. She sent it
Sandy
out to
could also
everybody.
testify. Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe just a paper receipt would take care of it.
So one of the things, Linda, though, is we're going to have to keep an eye out just in case if anybody requests a deferred payment plan
Absolutely.
between now and June.
Yeah.
We'll have to pull out their portion of the water rent.
Yep.
And so I know because you're saying it to the count. Does the county send out your tax bills, or do you guys do them yourselves?
They print them for us. They prepare them. They print them. We mail them.
Right. So that's why you're sending it to the county now. So
Correct. It's got to go
between
to the
now
county
and
tomorrow morning.
yeah, between now and June, if somebody enters into a deferred payment plan, the numbers on that bill that we get from the county are going to need to be adjusted. It's just
Right.
something to be mindful of. Then I just
Yep.
want to.
No, I
flag that.
appreciate that very much.
So nothing we need to alter going forward here? You think we're good?
Sounds like it.
Okay. Should I read these resolutions off, or are they just all going to be in the record?
You can. You don't have to.
Maybe I'll do it just to be safe.
Yeah.
Okay. Resolution number 21 of the 2020 to 2021 budget year, Village of Whitney Point. Resolution introducing a proposed local law. Whereas a local law being proposed
Nope.
as local law number 1 of
That's,
2021.
That
doesn't
is
seem correct.
the tax cap override one.
21?
Sorry. We're resolution 18, Jason. That's the one we're on.
Am I reading the wrong one?
Yeah, I think you're on 20,
Why am
21.
I don't think I printed that one out. Sorry. Let me get in my Dropbox and see. Relevy county unpaid bills.
Unpaid water bills.
No, that's the wrong one.
Sorry.
It's okay. My bad. Resolution 19 or 18?
18.
That's 18. That's 19.
18's the one we want.
Yep. Okay.
That's the first up. There's 3 resolutions tonight. Sorry,
Mhm.
guys.
I know I'm seeing tax cap
4
override,
resolutions.
unpaid bills, and budget. Yeah, I only see 3 in the Dropbox. Maybe that's why I didn't get it printed off.
Okay, sorry. So the first one is, whereas there are unpaid water and sewer bills in the amount of $56,249.76 on record as of this date, and whereas all unpaid water sewer bills are relevied into the village tax rolls, now therefore be it resolved that all unpaid water sewer bills as of this date will be forwarded to the Broome County Real Property Department to be included on the forthcoming village tax rolls.
Thank you.
Yep, not a problem.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
That was Fran. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Now for votes. Marv,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
and Scott.
Yes.
And the mayor will vote yes as well. Excellent. Okay, next
Now it's the unpaid bills.
is the resolution to relevy unpaid bills.
Yes.
Now these are the out of village.
Nope, these are
Oh.
actually village residents who have had tires picked up that were not
Oh.
paid for, and we have on our records that if residents don't do certain things and it becomes a problem, we have to like go out and shovel snow or mow
Mow the
lawns or
lawn,
things
yeah.
like that, and that's what this other one is for.
Okay, and this one is the amount of $75, so nothing very substantial. But, okay, so resolution number 19, the resolution to relevy unpaid bills. Whereas there are unpaid bills in the amount of $75 on the record as of this date, and whereas all unpaid bills are re-levied onto the village tax rolls, now therefore be it resolved that all unpaid tax bills as of this date will be forwarded to Broome County Real Property Tax Department to be included on the forthcoming village tax roll. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, Fran, a second?
Second.
Excellent. Okay, any discussion? Okay, for a vote, Marv,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
and Scott.
Yes.
And the mayor votes yes. Thank you. And next, resolution 21. Accepting this is the proposed local law about the tax levy.
How about
Override.
20 for the budget?
Did I pass 20 for the budget? Oh, there's 4 here. Cool, 20. 20 is for the adopting of the annual budget for the Village of Whitney Point for the 2021-2022 fiscal year. Okay, this is a bit longer, so bear with me. Whereas the village board, hereinafter village board of the Village of Whitney Point, hereinafter the village, on April 14th, 2021, commencing at 7:05 p.m. at the Town of Triangle Municipal Building at 2612 Liberty Street, Whitney Point, New York, duly held a public hearing on a tax cap override law. And whereas the village board heard all persons desiring to be heard in the matter, and the matter local law was fully discussed and considered by the village board. Whereas the village board passed the same, which was filed with the Department of State on April 14th, 2021. And whereas the village board on April 14th, 2021, commencing at 7:05 p.m. at the Town of Triangle Municipal Building at 2612 Liberty Street, Whitney Point, New York, duly held a public hearing on the village 2021-2022 fiscal year preliminary budget submitted and approved by the village board and filed with the village clerk of the village for the fiscal year commencing June 1st, 2021. And whereas the village board heard all persons desiring to be heard in the matter, and the matter of the said budget for the village for such 2021-2022 fiscal year was fully discussed and considered by the village board. Now, therefore, the village board of the Village of Whitney Point duly convened in regular session does hereby resolve as follows. Section 1, the said 2021-2022 preliminary budget of the Village of Whitney Point submitted, approved, and filed as aforesaid, being the same is hereby adopted and established as the 2021-2022 annual budget for the Village of Whitney Point for the fiscal year beginning June 1st, 2021. Said annual budget as so adopted and established shall be entered in detail in the minutes of the proceedings of the village board. Section 2, the village clerk of the village shall prepare and certify as provided by law duplicate copies of the said village annual budget hereby adopted and established, and shall deliver one of such copies to the mayor of the village, and the said mayor of the village shall present such copy to the Board of Trustees. And Section 3, this resolution shall take effect immediately. Do we have a motion to approve the budget
I so move.
or approve for the adopting the budget? Okay, second,
Second.
discussion. And a vote. Marv,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
and Scott.
Yes.
Okay, and I vote yes as well. Okay, now we're on to 21, right? That is the tax limit. Back in order here.
The proposed law.
The proposed law, right? Okay. Resolution 21 of 2020 to 2021, resolution introducing a proposed local law. Whereas a local law being proposed as local law number 21 of 2021, entitled local law number 1, right?
Yes.
Of 2021, entitled a local law to override the tax levy limit established in General Municipal Law, Section 3-C, a copy of which is attached here too, was introduced at this meeting. And whereas the village board desires to hold a public hearing with respect to the adoption of said local law, now therefore be it resolved that a public hearing will be held by the village board of the Village of Whitney Point with respect to the adoption of the aforesaid local law at 7:10 p.m. on April 14th, 2021 at the village office, 2612 Liberty Street, Whitney Point, New York. And it is further resolved that the village clerk is hereby authorized and directed to cause public notice of said hearing to be given as provided by law. Okay. We have a motion second that resolution.
I so move.
Okay, second.
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion.
I have one question.
Bob, go ahead.
That sounds a lot to me like it was the law, the motion to establish the hearing rather than adopt the
It does, doesn't it?
law. I thought we had the hearing half an hour ago and we should be adopting the
It
override.
does seem a bit out of order. do you think,
I don't
Linda?
know if I'm,
Yes.
I don't know if I'm right, but
I
that's
can't get
just
into my other stuff at this point without shutting down Zoom, and I can't do that.
Let me see if I can't get in here as well. It would be the same thing. I think I printed it all from Dropbox.
No,
So.
it's the same thing that was there, but we actually have a local law that Coughlin Gerhardt had us develop, et cetera, that we send off to the county or to the state. Sorry.
the only thing I see in the Dropbox about the local levy is the thing you just read. I do not see anything that is the actual override wording,
Right.
if that makes sense, what I'm trying to spit out in my old age.
Right.
We actually prepared the whole law, etc. Got it. So, do you see my screen or no? Or just me?
Oh, I do. 1 second.
See, I thought that it says, it says now, therefore, the Village of Whitney Point will resolve, right? Like it says we've had the meeting, we're done, now we're
It does
resolving.
sound like this was what we did before. That a public hearing will be held, and we did that earlier.
Yeah.
That's my point.
And that's done.
Yes.
Right. This is not actually approving the tax
I'm
levy.
trying to see where I can share my screen without messing up.
If you have it, Linda, you're welcome to read it.
There's this. This is what we actually are filing with the state, the local law forms. So that's what has to get filed with the state.
Okay.
All I'm saying is I think there's supposed to be a motion
There's
to
supposed to-
override the tax cap.
Yes. Yes, basically, yes. And I will make sure that the right verbiage is there to go with it.
Okay.
Right, and I mean, the long and the short of it is it's a motion to adopt the local law.
Correct.
I mean, that's, if
Yes.
you wanted to keep it real simple.
All right.
I
Let's do
move
that.
that we keep it real simple, and do what Nate says and move forward.
Do we have a second on keeping it real simple?
Second,
Who was the second? I'm sorry, Marv?
Marv.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay. Any discussion? Nope. And votes. Marv,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
and Scott.
Yep.
Excellent. The mayor votes yes. Thank you for bearing with us, and thank you, Bob, for catching that. Sometimes I was reading so fast I wasn't absorbing what I was reading. Okay. I think that's everything that is on the agenda. Old business.
Yep.
The only thing that's really pressing was the fire department door. It sounds like the door is in process of being replaced. The electrical work has already been done, but we're still waiting on the actual installation of the door mechanism. Hopefully that will be soon. And hopefully the door will be nice and working. So, any other old business? Awfully quiet.
That's a good sign.
I know, but I've lost video from everybody because I can't tell if I'm just talking to a black screen or if you guys are still there.
No,
What do
I'm
you think about
actually
the video?
listening.
Okay. Okay. New business. We'll do these after new business. We'll go to executive session for a couple things. For now, the first item I have is the village was given notice by Linda Joyce, who lives at the corner of Strong's and Liberty, that her sidewalk is heaving and in need of repair. Apparently she was notified by her insurance company. So I have mentioned that to Scott, and he's going to work out a plan to see how we're going to take care of that. Any questions or concerns on that?
I'm astounded that insurance companies would be checking sidewalks.
Apparently they had done a whole home inspection, including sidewalks.
Oh. Oh, just for her place.
Yeah, just her place.
Oh,
And we are under, when we get reported about a dangerous situation concerning our roads and sidewalks, we're obligated to comply.
mhm. I
And
see.
do we look to take care of just that piece that she was reported on, or is there like, do we look at like a larger plan or something like that? Or
Well, I spoke with Scott this morning, and every year these guys have a plan to spend their CHIPS funds.
yeah,
This year, since the roads are in pretty good shape, his original intention was to work on some sidewalks this year.
sweet.
So I imagine that this will
Timing
just
is
become
everything.
a part of that plan. I'm not sure exactly where he was looking to work, but we'll be incorporating this into that project.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So next, I was contacted by Mike Reynolds of Sparky's fame. He had a rather interesting inquiry. This is all in your Dropbox as well. I don't know if you've had a chance to look it over. To be precise, he is frustrated with people who are parking on North Collins Street, and in doing so, sort of parking him in. He proposed or asked if it was possible for the village to lease him the end of North Collins. And I think Linda's coming up with a map to give us a point of reference. If we could lease him that far butt-end section of North Collins so that he could prevent people from parking on it. And he was offering a sum of $100 a year to lease the property. I'm not so sure how I feel about leasing of that property. It is a road. I think it is in the village's, okay, see where, yeah, she's already got the arrow pointed at. So Sparky's there is below and to the right of that red arrow.
This is Sparky's.
Yep. He is
Okay.
concerned with, he has been parking against that wall right above Sparky's. And people parking at the end of the road stop him from being able to back out of his spots and exit. So he was hoping we could lease that portion to him so he could, use it for private parking or prevent public from parking there.
But it is actually a street.
So Mayor, I can tell you legally, you can't do that because it's
Yeah,
Because it's a
I would
street.
say
Right.
so too.
Right. Now, what I was speaking earlier this morning, it might be a better suggestion for us. Maybe we can just put some paint down and some signs saying no parking at all, which it's a street. There should be really no. I mean,
Well,
we
and
can
that-
determine whether or not we want.
Mayor, I think that's exactly where my head is at. I mean, is this street, is there parking on this street?
After
your
6
road?
o'clock, Marv, you're the one who can answer this the best.
Well, there's a sign there saying no parking at night, whatever that term is, time is no time given, but you got the telephone building there on the left as you drive up in, and
Right here.
yeah, I guess my philosophy would be to put signs, no parking at all.
Well, so that I think would most likely take a local law to change your parking regulations to designate this area as no parking. It's easy enough. I mean,
Because it makes a
Especially if
good
it's not-
spot, it makes a good spot in the winter to kind of push snow back up in there, for the village guys for a while till they get time to remove it.
Correct.
So-
Scott mentioned that as well. He said it's very nice when that is empty, that they can dispose of the snow that way.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping that will make, while probably not 100% happy, he'll at least be content that there is nobody going to be parking behind him to prevent him from getting out.
But I'm
Well,
gonna warn you that they'll park there anyway.
well, and well, people will, but it also occurs to me, I believe that there's a state law that says basically you can't block driveways. You're not supposed to park a vehicle in the middle of a driveway like that. And so we might be able, I mean, if the sheriffs feel like ticketing people for that,
But
It gets a little more complicated though,
it gets
as
very
it always
complicated.
is. That wall above Sparky's is actually owned by the group that owns the mobile. So he has actually been parking, as far as I know, with permission in those spots,
Well,
but they're not actually
actually-
on his property.
Actually, when I went by today, there was nobody parked in this piece that's right here.
Mhm.
He has 2 or 3 spots, maybe 4 that are down here right after his building before the fence. Then there was a portion where nobody was parked, but that is part of Speedway or the gas station's property. So nobody was parked there. They were on the street parked 3 deep or three across there.
Mhm. Right. When I was there were cars parked horizontally, butting up against that wall, and there were 3 cars parked against parked at the butt of the road, and there was 1 car that was double parked behind that car.
It's also
So-
dinner time now too. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And
I think we ought to take the time to look at that a little bit. If you,
yeah, I'm not suggesting we make a decision tonight. I just wanted to bring it up as new business to something we should discuss. And then I don't think we're going to make everybody happy with whatever we decide, but we should start looking at it now. It's a valid concern.
Well, we do know that it's not something we can legally do what's requested in the letter. Do we
Right.
make a response to that as
Yeah,
such?
I can speak with Mike and just, follow
Okay.
up and let him know that what he's asking is actually, we're not able to do it.
But we are looking at doing something or check, at least
Right, and
investigating
then-
it.
And then I'll get a gauge for what his priorities really are. If it is just, he doesn't want to block his employees from backing up out of their spots, is he concerned? Does he not want to park in the larger parking lot for safety reasons? Walking across the dark parking lot at night, he probably, he might want his employees to park a little closer. Who knows?
All right, sounds good.
But it does sound like several other businesses are parking in those spots regularly because they're convenient. So I don't want to make any judgment that's showing any kind of favoritism. So anyway, that's it. We can think about it and we can discuss it at a later meeting. Sound good?
Yep.
Anything else relating to that? Okay.
Bob, you're
Yes.
on.
Are we that far right now? I think I have one more thing real quick
Okay.
before I give Bob. I'm just trying to find out what I do with my agenda. Got so many papers here, Linda.
There's a lot of resolutions.
Oh, yes. Yeah, a lot of resolutions. Lamont, Brennan Becker, who is our representative for Lamont Engineers, always on the lookout for grant programs for us, has suggested there was one that we might qualify for. Specifically, it's related to bridges and culverts. Having spoken with Scott, it would allow us to sort of repair the culvert under where Fort Hill Road meets West Main. There's typically flooding there a lot, as I'm sure Scott can attest to. At the base of Fort Hill Road, have you had a real big flood since you've moved in there?
Not too bad, but yeah, I know what you're talking about, definitely.
So there would
Nothing
be,
like 011, just before we
Right.
moved in.
right. So and then the water table just tends to run over West Main at that point. So hopefully, if we were to be approved for this grant, we can put some work into that culvert and direct the water flow more appropriately, i.e. not over the road. So that is in the works. I just want to let you guys know about that. I'll let you know if we have any more information as far as acceptance or anything like that.
is that a village street there or?
West Main?
West Main.
County road.
I'd have to see exactly where the line is. West Main
It
is
part of the village, but it's cleaned by county, I believe.
The village line, I believe, is west of Fort Hill.
It is. It's west of Fort
Right.
Hill. It's just between Ken Bates and the old Fluger house.
Mhm.
So it's still in the village.
It's
Right.
okay.
So it's just past Fort Hill. Perry Street is in the village,
Yeah,
which goes to the right.
okay. All right, so that's it for new business. You're on, Bob, now.
Nate, do we have to go in and out twice for 2 items of business, or can we go in once for 2 items of business?
I believe you could go in once for 2 items of business. You just need to identify in the motion for executive session that there's 2 items.
Okay, so
I move that we go into executive session for the purpose of contract negotiation and a personnel matter.
sounds good. Okay, do you have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Okay, please pause the recording.
And you gonna vote first?
Oh, sorry, vote, yes, sorry.
That's what I was
My
waiting
bad. I'm getting ahead. Sorry.
I was waiting to
Marv,
write it down.
Yes.
was you writing too? Okay, Bob,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
and Scott.
Yes.
And I
Okay,
vote
now
yes
I'll
as
pause.
well. Thank you. Now we'll stop the recording. Okay, so for the record, we are taking no actions coming out of executive session. And that, any other business before we call it a night? I think we're good, right? I've got nothing else. Anyone? For hold your peace. Okay, on that note,
Yes, there is. 2 things. Sorry, 2 things.
oh,
real
go ahead.
quick. I had a phone call from Joe, what's his name? Joe Ings, I can't pronounce his name, the Assemblyman, Angelini's office.
Okay,
He is going to want to come into one of the meetings at some time in the near future to talk with the board. He was hoping that we would have an in-person meeting tonight, and I said, yeah, we're not, we're Zooming, and they're finding that all over the place, that everybody's still Zooming. So
and as far as we know, we're going to be doing Zoom.
for a while, I
Until
said, as
told
long as the
otherwise.
governor keeps extending his order, we're still there.
So why does he want to come to a board meeting?
He just like the county wants to come also. We've had that phone call too, that the county wants to send a representative just to touch base with their constituents.
Essentially, it's touting their platform and explaining how they're helping us. So,
I see.
So I apologize. I got that phone call about 5 o'clock today. So
okay. Not my highest priority, but we'll see if we've got some time for it. Was that was 1? Did you say there was 2, Linda?
yeah, no, that's the same. That's enough.
That's enough. Okay, good.
That's enough.
All right. Unless there's anything else, I would like to thank you all for bearing with me during my first meeting.
First one's in the books, Jason.
Yeah.
Yes, and thank you for bearing with me and answering some of my questions. I know you've probably heard it time and time again, but I'll probably just keep
No,
asking
Scott,
if you don't mind.
we're counting on that because
All right.
it's important.
So as I told Fran, all 3 of you are new. So you all, if one of you are thinking it, I'm sure the other 2 are probably having similar questions in their mind. So
Well, thank you all. I do appreciate it.
not a
And if
problem.
anybody needs to reach out to me or Linda, I'm sure after the meeting or anytime during the week, you're more than welcome to. So,
Okay.
okay.
Thank
All
you
right.
guys.
Thank you all. On that note, I'm going to close the meeting. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank
Yep.
you
All
all.
right.
Bye.
All right. Good night, everybody.